Welcome, my friends and enemies. Glad you are here. I am joined once again with the Omega Inquisitor Metastic. I don't know what that means because the End Inquisitor, is that what it's supposed to mean?
I don't know what it means either.
Well, Omega means end. So like
Yeah.
Alpha and Omega is beginning and end. So you're an End Inquisitor? What does that mean? Are you the one they see as the final torturing statue hits through and then all of a sudden they die and that's the
I
end?
am the Inquisitor you see before it all ends.
You will see me before you see the Dark One. Uh,
I'm like the Galactus of Inquisitors.
that's awkward. Going around eating balls. Anyway, we've got a bit of a just, I guess, standard
Hodgepodge.
hodgepodge. Yeah, hodgepodge. That's a good one. Hodgepodge. Nobody knows what it actually means, but we know how we use it in language.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Anyway, what we have is this modder took a Steam Deck and stuck a 13-inch OLED USB-C monitor on a Steam Deck through a 3D printed bracket.
That seems a little awkward.
It would be a little balance different. Like I have this thing here for mine, which is a little a bag. I'm gonna have to adjust.
I mean,
this
that's a great idea, but especially with detachable.
like this. It's detachable. We can hook it on. It just kind of sits there. It'll hold the weight because it balances the weight and everything. Okay, that's built in.
I mean, in theory, you could have a setup with a what is it called, a docking station, where you pull your Steam Deck up, plug it into a port, and just switch your monitor to
Yeah,
you know.
this is just supposed to be the handheld, and I like this the concept. At first, when I read this, I misunderstood and I thought he like
Yeah, what it
literally
actually looks
replaced the
like.
screen.
Like something you use in Star Trek.
I mean, it looks like a drone controller, honestly,
It's a Steam quarter, you know.
but it's a like I don't understand this. Was like you got a Steam Deck and you're perfectly happy with it, but you find yourself eyeing the slightly newer OLED model with a lascivious
Lascivious.
lascivious. What the fudge? Isn't it usually that's a different word I'm thinking of? Envy. What's the gamer to do? It's like, well, you can't solve that problem by putting a 13-inch screen on this because the OLED has like different components.
I beg to differ. You can solve any problem by attaching a 13 screen to it.
No, I'm saying like it won't speed your programs up. It won't like increase
Yeah.
performance or anything. What it will do is make it bigger. That's all it will do. But that's just a weird. This is a weird thing to think about because it has
I don't
nothing to
know.
do with
Okay,
this.
let me be clear. Um, if you just want to play your games mobilely and it's not overly heavy, I can see that. I don't have a problem with it. Now, if you're doing something like I don't know, as long as it's detachable,
It is.
I'm not, and you don't break your wrist to use it if you're playing on an airplane or whatever.
You'd have to balance it like great, but that's an ultra thin. That
Yeah,
screen's probably worth more than the freaking Steam
yeah.
Deck
Hmm.
because they're not normally like I have one in my bag and it's a I don't know freaking
Well, the interesting thing to
sizes,
do
but
with it would be not that I'm a fan of these. What are those Windows tablets called?
um, I mean I have a Windows tablet. It's a Surface Go.
Yeah, like put a put a tablet PC there for that screen so that you can like when you're not playing Steam, you can use it as a tablet.
Well, and that's the thing is I think there's a software because you can't just plug the stuff in and it works, right? Like you
Well,
have there has to be something in the system that translates because otherwise I'd use my tablet as a monitor because it's I think it's about the same size monitor as this one.
well, no, that Steam is running Linux, so if you plug into an HDMI port, it would just recognize what you're doing as a external display.
Okay, yes, fair enough. Because I thought about like, what if I plug my Switch into it when I'm traveling or something? Can I get a bigger screen? And you'd have to have the Elgato or something to
Yeah.
pop it through, which is still stupid.
No, but
Oh,
if you
also,
have
oh, go ahead, go ahead.
if it has HDMI out, let's say, you should, in theory, plug into the HDMI port on any of those.
Well, this is a USB-C to USB-C, so
Well, I mean, that's going to be lower resolution or lower band, not
yeah.
necessarily low resolution, but lower bandwidth than HDMI would have.
Sure, that's just what they have.
Yeah.
But also, this locks out your because the way he has the 3D printed clasp on it, he doesn't have a slot for the bottom USB-C, so you could still like plug it in to have it charged while you're doing stuff, which is a little disappointing. But part of me wants them to create a USB-C top that plugs in, but also has a plug on top of it for like a pass-through system for like charging, so you could have one B for this whole thing and all that jazz. I just feel like that would be a really heavy addition. I mean, those are honestly not that heavy of screens. It's just awkward because it's not like attached to it and it's not built in a particular way to make up for that. I like the concept. It's just a little awkward. But I still want to figure out how to play, and you're gonna have to remind me of the term. I know the term. I just can't freaking remember it for the life of me. It's when you create, like on Windows 10, you create like a Windows 7 temp box where you could operate
Oh,
programs through it.
oh, not a VM.
It's a virtual something.
It's not. No, it's not a virtual. It's not a. It. It can. You can do that with a virtual machine.
Virtual machine's what I'm thinking of, but yeah,
But
it's probably something
you're
else.
actually thinking when you said drop, you're thinking of a what are they called? Um, a container.
I'm like I just want to play like Warcraft 3 and all like the old school games I have that they don't have available to play on Windows 10. I want to be able to play them on my Windows 10. And there's not really a good way because for whatever reason they can't freaking figure out how .exe works throughout operating systems for some freaking reason.
You know,
It's stupid.
it's into graphics and API and all that.
But what's the freaking like you graphics everything? Like it's just graphics. Like it doesn't take power. Just read it the way it is and go
No,
with it. Like it shouldn't be that difficult.
when you virtualize graphics cards, it's complicated.
Well, I'm saying like even if it shouldn't even have to be virtualized, it should just run. Period. Like I shouldn't even need the virtual aspect. I should just be able to throw my disk thing to my computer and just boop,
Well,
and play it. I shouldn't have to do it.
unfortunately, Microsoft has on abandoned anything prior to Win32 for support Windows.
Yeah.
So Win16 or DOS or whatever.
We just need a conversion system. What the frick is this guy's skin? Because it looks like it's.
Well, they make emulators for older games. But a lot of times what happens is someone will release
Yeah, but
release like,
emulators are harder to connect. With a disc, I can pop that in, go to Game Ranger, and then play somebody in Warcraft 3.
uh,
Like it's already preset for basically a server.
you know,
They don't do that for that stuff. But anyway, I thought that was nifty. I thought that was cool. I still think the whole OLED idea doesn't make sense if it's itself. I mean, it makes the screen
yeah.
brighter, I guess. But aside from that, it doesn't really do anything. So
Mhm.
I don't know what like what the deal is, but yeah, I just get the OLED if that's the case. Um, but next, are you familiar, good sir, with how AI gets its information,
Um,
like its source?
depends on AI.
Well, large language models in June 2025, percentage wise, where they search the top 10 web domains, Reddit is at the top.
Well, here's the deal.
That's terrifying.
Some AIs have to be fed in their info. Others will gain it by reading stuff.
Yeah.
Some do
This
both.
is Google's AI mode, AI overviews,
Yeah,
ChatGPT, Perplexity.
Google is trying to make their AI so that it will learn on its own by accessing the internet.
Well, it says based on 150,000 citations from 5,000 randomly selected keywords from SEMrush database. But
And
it's like
remember,
you got this Reddit here, and then the comment obviously is this is why AI is so dumb and retarded because Reddit's what they're going to.
but you got to
Wikipedia,
remember,
which is not a good source.
the AI is the equivalent of a 2-year-old human, right? Now,
I don't know.
so
I feel like it's insulting to 2-year-olds.
bear with me. So
Pun intended.
all 2-year-old humans are retarded.
I put it back to Digger.
No, they are
Different.
in terms of their brain hasn't fully developed. It's reality.
No, that
So
doesn't mean they're retarded. Retarded's a totally different thing. They may
retarded
not.
means retarded means your IQ is below about 75.
I mean, my kid struggles in one thing and excels in another.
If you're testing your child's IQ right now, what would you call it, like 2 years old?
Which one?
How old are your kids?
4 and 9 months.
So your 4 year old, if you test his IQ right now, unless he's a rare person like me, his IQ is going to be like,
A rare
like.
person like you.
Well, I was a natural genius. Um, his IQ, your kid's IQ
A
is going to
natural,
be.
humble genius.
I'm not. I'm not. But I'm. Anyway, me
I know.
aside,
I'm teasing you.
I was doing like high school math when I was 4.
Yeah, I did college history in 10th grade. It was
Yeah.
fine.
So,
But I mean, he'll start like naming all like if you try to ask him like you basic ABCs and all that type of stuff, he's still learning them. He's still trying to figure it out. But if you ask him
I
like
can.
all the different components of a freaking semi truck, he will break them down in their like most technical terms. It's the freaking weirdest thing ever. I'm just like, how are you this smart, but you can't figure this stuff out? I don't understand it. Like he can't spell smokestack, but he can tell you all the details about a smokestack.
Well, that.
I didn't even know what a
Yeah.
smokestack was.
That's not. Look, I think your kid's a great kid. As far as I know, he's normal. Or maybe you have high intellect.
Yeah.
He'll be high intellect.
We're a
I'm not
bit
ashamed to admit this.
strange over here. So
I was a natural genius. I had almost photographic memory. My grandma taught me how to
I'd
do my
kill for
ABCs.
photographic memory.
I, I was doing my ABCs when I was like 1. You know, I knew the multiplication table all the time I was 4 or 5 years old. You know, so
I mean, not like you're
then
gonna apply it to anything, but yeah, sure.
well, what for those who don't know, what being a genius gets you is usually a head start. So, like in theory, by the time everyone else catches up with you in their mid 20s, you're like 15 with a PhD and earning big bucks or whatever.
Which would be
You know,
nice.
now
I don't know if
my
he's gonna be
genius,
that smart. I mean, I'm happy to be proven wrong, but
my
a lot of
genius.
that I think is also how you're being taught as well.
Well, no, some most that's true to an extent, but
Like I
most
think homeschoolers have the benefit because they can take the school system and shrink it and compact it to where if I had started the way I finished my high school system, like how we had our homeschool system, I would have finished probably when I was 12 and had all that time in the world to do whatever it is. Because the way we advanced, we just compacted stuff in
well,
a
they were
way
trying to get me into college when I was in 7th grade. And my mom
that makes one of
wouldn't.
us.
Yeah. Um. Anyway, the point again is, like in my case, those who were between psychological and brain damage, that's what set me back. Now, what I'm getting at is an AI. Let's just someone like me, okay? AI is like a normal human developer, right? So it has to absorb all this stuff and hopefully develop as a sane, moral AI 10 or 15 years from now, right? Or maybe 6 years. AI's
I'm
accelerator
just
6
looking
years.
at these, and the only like the first one I would find to be moderately useful would probably be Google. I
But
can't see the
again,
rest of them being useful.
the reason AI is going to use this because there's a lot of internet content. The AI is loading itself up by reading the internet, right? So there's a
Sure.
lot of traffic on Reddit. So the AI is going to be reading Reddit,
Well, that's
right?
what I'm saying. Is like there's a lot of stuff you can get on Reddit that may or may not be true, but there's a lot of stuff on Reddit. A lot of most of it's probably trash.
And,
Wikipedia is not reliable. That's why it's not
Um,
you're not allowed to use it as a source for most professors because it's
I would
Wikipedia. It's
agree
not.
with you. Um,
It
the
might
one
have
thing
interesting information, and a lot of the information may be true, but there's too much. Like
the
it's
one
it's
area
too easy to
Wikipedia
change it.
tends to work out very well is with pure science stuff like statement of formulae and stuff like that.
Maybe, but even like historical stuff. I remember when Cleopatra, the whole Cleopatra's Black
Oh,
thing.
yeah, yeah,
There was a
that's a
war
good.
going on in Wikipedia because you had people changing it and people changing it back, people changing it, people
Yeah,
changing it back. It's like, well, it's not reliable if you can just change it.
yeah.
Because
Wikipedia.
imagine if I just went into Wikipedia one time and was like, this theory of whatever the case might be that everyone's really interested in right now, I'm going to just tweak this formula a little bit, and then everyone's coming to the
The
wrong
model,
conclusions over and over and over and
the,
over again.
the model Wikipedia uses wasn't designed with the modern political mindset of fandoms.
Well, it should have
You know,
been it should have been something where like the people who could change it are people who have like a PhD or something where it's academia and the academia is like it's attached to their credentials. And if their credentials or I should say if their information is incorrect, their credentials take a hit, so that they're more cautious about changing things. Because if you had like archaeologists and historians and whatnot, like Egyptologists or something, coming in and saying, we found this information about Cleopatra, this is what we know, and then as information changes and updates through findings, they change that. That's one thing. But having just some random schmuck go like, well, I watched a Netflix show and they had in the trailer, this woman said, I don't care what anybody tells you, Cleopatra was black, so therefore Cleopatra's black. That's stupid. Like that's a joke. And I would
I
not
don't.
I
I
would
don't.
not deal.
Like I said, you got to learn to evaluate information.
Well,
And
I wouldn't even accept YouTube, because YouTube, while it has lots of useful tutorials and lots of useful information and good teachings and stuff, there's a lot of stuff in there that's the opposite of useful on the same
well,
topics. That is
but
just
that's
it's
the
a
thing.
mess. It
We
doesn't have
as
the ability to tell the difference between good and
we
bad.
as
It just tells
we
you
as
what it is.
natural intelligence have learned to evaluate information sources. When AI has to
Well,
learn to do
yeah,
that.
there's sourcing in people is a very weird thing.
AI
But
has to learn to do that.
I just
That's
thought this was an interesting uh materialization of what we're used to seeing, and put it like, how is this actually treated? So I personally think it's interesting. I don't know if
I
everybody else
agree.
does,
I'm
but
just saying though, it's obvious because just like natural intelligences has learned to discern from your information sources, the thing is, we don't want our AIs being taught by people. Like people, I should say not taught. We don't want our AIs to be loaded up by people. We want the AI to learn to do it itself.
well, that, and also you could have them learn off of principles, not off of people.
But that's being loaded up by people.
No, because being loaded by people implies that the person is implicitly entering in their own biases, their own worldviews, all that kind of stuff.
We've
But
learned
if you just
from,
say, here's a book on mathematics that is universally accepted by everyone in mathematics, and you just have the AI read
but
it and understand it.
there's no book like that.
Well, I'm saying like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division,
There are
algebra
people in
one,
the
two,
mathematics
three.
who debate that stuff.
Okay, if they well, I'm sure there's going to be debate on literally everything in the world. But I'm saying in terms of, if you have people saying, I think 4 + 4 is 27, and here's why. Like what's the guy's name, um, that played Rhodey in Iron Man?
Oh, so yeah, I know what you mean. So if you
Is it
listen to what he's
Terrence?
saying,
Is it Terrence Howard?
yeah, if you listen to Terrence Howard, if you listen to what he's saying, okay,
It's stupid.
he's not incorrect. He's wrong. Um,
Yes.
no, no. So there are systems of math where what he's saying is true.
Well, sure, but we're not talking about any other system of math other than one particular one.
What he's saying is if you use those other systems, and this is where he's wrong. I'm not saying he's not incorrect, he's wrong. If you use those other systems, that you can get better results in the real world. The thing is, and this is where he's wrong, because just because something is math, and this leads into the whole God existing thing. Math
Or
only
stay on
exists in,
target.
well, I'm just trying to say this. Math does not exist in the physical world. It only exists in the ideal world, in the idea.
I played with little figures of the number 2 when I was a kid, so therefore it does exist in the real world. Thank you.
Well, those are derived from the actual math. All right. So
I don't know.
there are systems of math which are entirely true, but have no applicability in the real physical universe. And what Terrence Howard
I don't
was
know how
saying
that
was,
equates to true, but
so
okay.
Terrence Howard is not incorrect in saying that 2 + 2 is 17 or whatever he said in the other system. Okay. He's wrong in applying
Well,
it
that's
to the real
because
world.
number, or like the mathematical numeric system, is a language. So if you change the definitions of things, you can come to multiple other ways to do it. It's just it would become more difficult than the simplified version we
Well,
have.
no, it's not that exactly that.
Well,
Like,
if 2, like, because if you
okay.
let's say
Yeah,
he says
okay.
2 + 2 is
So
12. If
does a
2 is the
triangle,
same as
I'm
6,
gonna
6 + 6 would be
I'm gonna
12.
ask a
Yeah.
very careful question, okay? Does a triangle always have 180 degrees?
No.
Why?
Well, I guess it depends,
Okay,
because as
why?
from what I remember, and again I haven't done this since like elementary school, it has to have 3 points.
A triangle in normal applicable geometry has 180 degrees always. In abstract geometry, it can't ever have 180 degrees.
So it can't just be any shape with the 3/4.
It's still a triangle. It still has 3 angles and 3 sides, but the lines aren't straight.
No. I'm saying like a regular triangle.
And I'm telling you what when a triangle, yeah, like if you ever look on the surface of the Earth and you see the equator and the longitude and latitude lines, and they make abstract geometry triangles from the North or South Pole to the equator.
Can't remember doing that
If
now.
you draw, okay, so which one is over? Longitude and latitude. You know what those are?
Yeah.
Okay, and you know how like latitude, I think, is the one that goes around the Earth. No, longitude goes long. Longitude circles.
It's like longitude,
Longitude is
long.
parallel to the equator.
They're both long.
Latitude is perpendicular to the equator, right?
Mm-hmm.
And latitude passes through the north and south pole, not the magnetic pole, the geological pole.
Yeah.
And if you look at every slice, there's a triangle that forms from the North Pole to the equator and the South Pole to the equator between the 24 lines of latitude, right?
Okay.
That's an abstract triangle. If you measure the total angles, it's going to be greater than 180 degrees.
So is a triangle always this? Like always the same? You can enlarge it or make it smaller, but it's
It
never going
always
to
has
change?
3 angles and 3 sides, but the sides aren't necessarily straight. And that's
So maybe I just use abstract a lot more because
that's
we just go based off of
well, the point again
it
is
has three
that's
sides.
a circumstance where the triangle is two different triangle measured in two different systems. One the Euclidean triangle, the other the abstract triangle. But both happen to have real world applicability. Well, there are other triangles if you did delve deeply into math that have no real world applicability. Where triangles have, only 18,240 degrees of crazy stuff like that, But in that system of math, they apply totally. And that's what Terrence Howard is. He's he's increased correct in saying 2 + 2 is 17 or whatever system he's using, but he's incorrect in applying it to the real world.
I mean, I can understand that.
Yeah.
But it's the same
It's
thing.
like
It's like when
or
people say, "Oh, Common Core math is better." It's like,
to get
no,
another
no,
one
no, 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 no. It's not. It's not.
in,
It's not good at
in the
all.
laws of physics, right? General relativity is 100% verified over and over again, right? We know it works, it produces results. And
I mean, to
however,
be fair, bad theories can produce results. It's
well,
not
this
good
is not a bad
results.
theory. This
No,
is,
no,
this
no,
is
no.
not a
I'm
bad
saying
theory.
like any theory can produce results,
There are
technically
other
speaking. It's just they're not necessarily good results.
there are other models out there, like string theory, membrane theory, or MOND, which is modified Newtonian dynamics, that can produce similar, if not the same results as general relativity, and they'll produce other results that will they claim to explain things. Now, in mathematical terms, those other models are 100% correct. They work, but they don't work in the real world.
A lot
So
of things
you
don't
get
work in the real world, like
that's
people.
what I'm getting at, where something could be mathematical. Because we're talking about let's circle back to our topic, right? Uh,
I already have the next one ready.
so I think people got the point. We
Yeah.
let's get on.
Don't do math wrong, kids. So, you may not have heard of this, but Arch from ArchCast was just randomly deplatformed from PayPal, and no reason was given other than unusual activities. Nonsense, of
Well,
course, and I was redirected to a page telling me about the rules of card companies. Please make some noise about this if you can and spread the word. So,
so on one hand, PayPal is a private business. Um, they have a right to do business with people as long as they're not discriminating in the U.S. based on biological sex, uh, disability. What are the
I
other
mean, we
ones?
can make a solid argument for Arch being disabled mentally, but
Racial
in a good
ethnic
way.
group stuff. The stuff we know about from 1973 Civil Rights Act and the American Disabilities Act. So on one hand, that's the case. On the other hand, it's probably a case of someone at PayPal, a high-ranking person, saying, "I don't like this guy, ban him."
Which, if that was the case, you just come out like using a vague term like unusual activity, and it's like, okay, point exactly to the point where it's unusual activity. Oh, well, we can't
Okay.
do that. It's like, well, no, 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 no,
Well,
no, no.
here's the thing: that they don't have to explain to you why they banned him. So long as they can explain legally that's not because he was disabled, male or man or woman,
Well,
is rape
but that's the
or
thing is that if they say unusual activity, and you can't point to it, how can you prove that it's not those things?
well, unusual activity could mean anything though. That's a vague term.
But that's my point, is that if they're like, oh, we discovered unusual activity, and he's like, okay, explain to me in excruciatingly painful detail when, where, how this unusual activity is, and you're saying that we cannot support. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? What can you not support about that unusual
Okay,
activity, because you haven't explained what the unusual activity
well,
is?
I
So
mean, 99,
all we know, it's because of his religious affiliations. I don't think he's religious, but hypothetically speaking, let's say he
well,
was religious. Let's say he was freaking Catholic or something.
Arch
How
would have
how
to go to
how does
court.
this not show? Like, how does
Well,
this prove that it's not because he's a Catholic, kind of a thing?
Arch has to go to court if he wants to prove it and prove that they did discriminate based on his religion, disability, whatever. Um,
I mean, at
on
this
his
point, I would tell
religion.
Arch to literally just go to war and just throw out a GoFundMe and say, let's take PayPal to account for this, and be like, what exactly is this? And then when the whole world sees what actually happened, and be like, oh, okay, well, PayPal's trash.
Well, the thing is, I'm willing to bet PayPal has some sort of pattern of whatever they said there were suspicious activities. That, of course, there's a million transactions. That's what a guy like him. Probably a lot of transactions that they can say, well, on this day every Tuesday for 2 months straight, he logged in for an IP that wasn't his own, and we determined that's suspicious activity.
Well,
Therefore, banning him.
Stutter and Craig just asked, did you get the money back at least first? And he's like, PayPal is helping themselves to about 15 grand at the moment. It was a nice and easy way to pay artists, but no longer, I guess.
We've known PayPal is, to leave aside the legal and technical part of it, we've known PayPal has been doing this for the past 10 years.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, when Elon sold it, it kind of went down the drain a little bit.
I believe Elon is making eventually going to make it to like XPay or whatever. Where you can
Yeah,
use that
he's trying to do it where it's like a PayPal platform, but it's also like a credit card company, from what I understand. So
yeah. So
he's trying to basically counter master. I don't know if it's directly because of this. I think it's because he's autistic as frick, and I think it's also because he knows he can make money off of it, because he can counter them, push away from them, and have all this extra money through it.
They tried to do it when he bought X, where they tried to block his money, and he was like, he went and got a Saudi billionaire to throw 25 billion in for him. And he's aside from being a genius, he is out thinking of every turn. He knows how to develop resources, and so
Sure.
he's developing an alternative to maybe Visa and Mastercard as far as a payroll backer. And he'll get it. I mean, the guy's proven it.
Well, the concept, like, I can understand, hey, we don't want to do business with you anymore. I get that. Sure, knock yourself out. What I don't get is when they're like, we're just going to help ourselves to your money indefinitely.
Well, that
because
is
reasons.
That is a standard behavior by anyone who has your money. Is they will hold on to it as long as possible, get as much interest as possible. The response to that should always be a
Sure,
lawsuit.
but then you'd have to get it back. This, they're like, we're going to hold on it for 120 days, so essentially 4 months of them holding on to this. And it's like, no. I did not cut myself off. And if I did cut myself off, you couldn't help yourself for up to 120 days, right? Like, they wouldn't say, oh, well, for 4 months, we're going to hold on to your stuff. Like, no. I am pulling my monies.
They're obeying the law, and it was to the point that benefits them. That's all.
Sure, but what I'm saying is that if they cannot prove without a shadow of a doubt that criminal activity has been happening, anytime somebody goes to their bank and says, I want to pull this out, what?
It doesn't have to be criminal.
No. I'm saying how it should be, not how they can get away with it. I'm saying
no, it's private property. You will not. The U.S. has a strong condition of private property. If they were like, well, you use blue hair dye, we want to ban you. They can do that.
Sure, but they can't keep your hair dye.
No,
like,
well, they
no,
can.
you're not understanding. If I put, let's say I had $10 million. I don't. I wish I did. if I had $10 million and I just put it in a bank, just random bank, and the bank says, "Oh, sorry, we're not going to do business anymore with you," and then just keep my $10 million,
Well,
that should
for
be
a certain,
illegal because it's not their
for a certain amount of
property.
time,
They
they're
can't.
allowed to do that.
They can't claim that they're. No, some banks literally just keep it forever. Like they just say we're not giving it back. Same thing as the state when they do those. Like, oh, we see you have $10,000
So
on you. We think you're doing drug
the
activity, and we're
government,
never going to give it back.
the government takings are a whole. Let's keep the government takings out of it. That's a whole
Sure, I'm just
different
saying. I'm
deal.
saying it's the same concept. Is that they deem that
But it's not.
they have rights. Well, like if everybody tried to pull their money out of the bank would prevent it.
It's
It's like you shouldn't be able to
it's
prevent
not.
it. It's.
Okay, okay. The government takings are a different category because
I'm not even
it's a
talking about that
different set of
anymore. I'm not even talking
it's
about
a
that
different
anymore.
it's a different set of laws. This is what I'm getting at.
Sure,
It's a different set of laws.
sure, whatever.
Private
I don't care.
takings, what you're talking about, like PayPal, is private takings. There's a set of law, both federal and state, that they're going by, and they're going to exploit it to benefit themselves the most. To have 4 months of interest on an account or whatever on that money in their account. 120 days is what, 4 months? So
Yeah.
literally the day after they go, he'll get a check, he'll get an automatic kickback or a check or whatever for the money, and if he wants it sooner, he's got to sue them and sue them for interest. You know, and it's usually not worth it because interest. What
It
they say?
costs more for the lawyer than the interest.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks, but that's
I'm
you
just
know.
saying, like, if they have the right to discontinue any type of, like, for example, let's say I went to PayPal and I put money, or like I put money into it or whatever, and I like send them a thing in the mail, like saying you owe me $30 billion because I found that your behavior was unacceptable and I want to cease dealings with you, and you owe me this money and I'm going to keep it indefinitely, essentially, just because I can. Everyone would be like, "You're stupid. You can't do that. That's not how that works." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, because they're a private company with their private funds. Therefore, it is what it is." Why he would ever put 15,000 onto PayPal instead of just putting on a card that he can just pay out instance by instance? I
The
don't
majority
understand.
of people, for whatever reason, never care about this stuff. You know, A
I mean,
and B.
I find that stupid because I'm never putting money on there. As soon as I get money put on, if I sold something to somebody, like I sold my Nintendo Switch to get a Switch OLED. As soon as the money came onto my account, I immediately transferred it. I'm like, I don't leave money on PayPal. That's the dumbest thing you could do.
Uh,
It's
I leave.
stupid.
I think I leave like 20 or 30 bucks to make.
No,
To make.
there's no
You know,
reason. It literally
because,
doesn't do anything. It doesn't help you, benefit you, or anything in any shape or form. There's no reason to do it.
it facilitates certain payments. I know. I mean, that's not what PayPal, but I have someone I pay on Venmo like once a month, and if I say I leave 20 bucks in there, whatever I leave in there, um, it would like it would delay the payment. I have to micromanage it more to get it to go through. Of course, I put it on Venmo. Venmo knows to like trigger it after 3 days or whatever. You know.
I don't know
Um,
why they don't just have a schedule system like normal people and then just push the schedule, say on this day pay this person this much money, and then boop, you're done.
well, for imagine I think it's $5 a month. I don't want to deal with that headache. Anyway,
I'll spend $20, not $5.
whatever it was, it's a small amount.
But the
But
point
I
is
someone
that if the bank says we're not going to do any business with you, it's like, okay, fair enough. You have the right to cease to do work with me. Cool, whatever. Give
and
me
the
my money
laws
back.
as
And then they're
exist,
like, no, we're not going to let you have your money back. Which
the
again,
laws as exist
sure.
allow them to keep for 120 days.
And
I
I
think the
would
law should be
say
changed.
that's unlawful and from a justice perspective, not from a
It's
legal
not
perspective.
unlawful because that's what the law says.
I just said, good sir, it's unlawful from a justice perspective,
No,
not
no,
from a legal
you wouldn't say
perspective.
it's unlawful. You would say it's unjust. You would just say it's unjust.
Unjust, sure, unjust.
A law that's in place cannot be unlawful.
Well, the reason I said it unlawful from an unjust perspective is because if it was a just law, it wouldn't have been in effect. It would only be in effect if it was unjust.
If the only laws in effect were just, we'd have like two laws on the books.
Amen, brother. Preach it.
Um,
Anyway, we're gonna get away from that because I don't want to go back into that all again. But yeah, Arch is getting shafted, and I think people should
he'll get his money in a couple months.
support him.
He's got to find maybe go to locals.
Yeah, locals is probably his best bet. I've considered using locals to do content kind of like not necessarily WWE, but like things that I like. Hey, I want to do a Lord of the Rings movie marathon. Watch it with me, like for literally the 21 hours it takes for The Hobbit and everything put together.
Mhm.
Like just I try to do that once a year at least, coming up usually in November, my birthday week, and it'd be cool to be able to watch it with people without getting struck like you would on YouTube. So that that
Yeah, I'll be
that to
interested to
me is
watch the
something that would be fun. But
special edited version of The Hobbit.
I honestly would like to watch that more. I haven't seen that one, so I still don't know why. I'm still getting texts about the internet outage, which is hilarious because I am using the internet right now. Whatever. Um, it was actually funny because I'll tell you afterwards. But anyway, yeah, he's getting shafted, which kind of sucks. So the next one, Nintendo has forced Japan's biggest speedrun charity event, RTA, to remove its games. After years of use, they told them each title now requires approval. I don't understand this in any shape or form. It's not even a power play, it's a dick move play, because quite literally, none of this it's not like they're using ill-gotten gained games. Like they didn't steal the games, they didn't download illegal copies or ROMs of the games. Like they're literally using the actual game. So if I went down to my local game store and it said, "Hey, the guy who owns it," I'd be like, "Hey, would you consider doing a charity event, playing video games to raise money for charity?" He'd say yes in a heartbeat. And like, let's play Mario Kart. It's not like he's gonna go, "Oh, I can't do that. They're gonna come after me, bro. They're gonna come after me." It's like, that's so stupid. He'd be like, "No, screw them," and like because it's
Well,
purchased games on
don't we know
purchased
that
systems doing
it's that
this to raise for a good cause, and they're like, "No, you have to have our permission to do that." I believe some Nintendo games that people stream, they get like DMCA's and stuff, and it's like, or cease and desist or whatever you want to call them. They're like, you can't do that. I'm like, guys, it's a video game, and you're allowed to stream those. I don't know if you know this. Like Geeks and Gamers does Mario Kart World all the time. It's like, how does this harm Nintendo? What would the how do you force somebody to not use something that you
I don't
have?
know. All I know is Nintendo, Sony, and well,
Nintendo's
yeah,
going heel right now.
well, all those Japanese companies are basically jerks. So
Yeah, I just don't know why. It's like it's not even just a random charity. It's a Japanese charity. So like they're keeping it in the family, so to speak. It's like it's not somebody outside of Japan taking advantages. Nobody. Now I can understand at the charity event, the workers were taking 50% of the cut, but they weren't doing anything. Like I get that, but if they're like, no, we don't get any of this. This is all volunteer. All the money is going directly to this funds of this charity thing. I can't see why Nintendo would have a problem with that. For one, it's an event of purchased systems, purchased peripherals, purchased like everything is purchased. Like you pay for the electricity, you pay for the TVs, you pay for the consoles, you pay for the controllers. You're paying if there's like accounts being put on there for whatever, that they're paying for their online status. They're like the games have been bought. None of this is free. So they're paying for it. So they should be able to do the speedrun charity regardless of Nintendo's wants, like desires. Like they're like, I don't want you doing this. Well, too freaking bad. I'm not doing anything illegal, so shove off. Like, I don't get it. Maybe they're the only thing I think of is that their nonprofit system over there doesn't work the same way it works here. Because if you do that here, Nintendo is gonna have to just shove off because there's no profit being made off of it. And even if there was profit being made off of it, what are they? Who cares? Like I don't ask them for permission to play. Like if I go and I say, I want to play my Switch OLED, I don't be like, please Nintendo, may I play your games? Frick no, I bought them. I already asked. My permission was, can I purchase your game. They said, sure, purchase our games. And I purchased their games. Everything else, shove off. I don't need their permission for that crap. But like as the terms by Grum, Nintendo cements its villain arc. They've been doing this for a freaking hot minute now. Like, this is the whole Power World shenanigans, how much they crack down on the dumbest thing. Like, I would understand if somebody's trying to use like Mario and like a freaking porno or something that would like harm the brand. Like, I would understand in that instance. But if it's something like Power World, which isn't anything, nothing in it is Nintendo branded. Everything in it is a brand new concept with brand new designs and everything like that. Like Nintendo, Pokemon Company, all that stuff, they don't own, from a perspective of actually being able to own things, like being able to own water textures. You can't own water textures. You can have different textures, but you have to buy them from the source, but you can't own the water texture. Like, nobody else can use water textures in any of their games. Like, no, you can't do that. Like, that's stupid. Saying, well, somebody threw something at somebody. Okay, that's a function. That something was spherical and somewhat in shape. Again, that's something in its own. It catches a being in it, because you can also sketch people in Power World, which is funny. Well, that's Pokemon, right? No. Capturing stuff. You can capture them with a net. You can capture them, like, not Power World, but like in games. Like, Spider-Man will stick somebody to the wall. That's how he captures them. He'll freaking wrap them up completely head to toe in webs. That's how he captures them. Like, oh, that's Pokemon. That's Pokemon. He launched something, and the end of it looked kind of spherical, and he caught somebody with it. Oh, that's Pokemon. Like, you can't do that. I mean, you can do it, but you shouldn't have a leg to stand on, and the judge should throw it out easy. So I don't understand why they're just so determined to destroy their brand while thinking they're saving their brand, because no harm is becoming to their brand.
I agree with you in general.
Except that they're being shown that they're being lazy, but yeah.
I think it's stupid of them to block this or whatever. But then clearly they're not destroying their brand because they're still selling money, product.
But no one's buying their product there. No one's making money off of their product.
I don't know that
presumably, if it's just a charity event, and it's the standard understanding of charity event, where charity events don't make money. But, you know, as it is, if RTA, which again I don't know anything about RTA, but if it is a standard charity event that we globally understand as an event where you raise money for a charity and they do things for that charity, and it follows the same guidelines here, where it has to be a non-profit, they're not making profit, there's no money extra going to them, it's just they're basically making money and it goes straight to a charity. That's it. If that is the case, Nintendo is killing their brand. And if they're killing their brand, they should be forcibly removed from their brand. The same way as, like, if you don't protect your IP, you can lose your IP. It should be the same thing for a company. When you're directly destroying your brand.
But they're not.
Well, they are. This is not a good look in any shape or form. This is like actually like them self-harming themselves.
I agree with you. That's what it is. But clearly they're still successful. Therefore, they're going to get away with it.
Well, sure, but if harming your brand, like if something is harming your IP and you don't come down on it, loses you your IP because you didn't protect your IP, that should apply also to your brand. If your brand is being harmed, then you should be separated from your brand. Like, your brand is no longer yours because you are not protecting it. Like, that should be the exact copy and paste same thing.
That's what happens if your brand collapses. It can put out in bankruptcy court.
Sure, but I'm saying you're harming stockholders. You're harming the people who are invested in your company.
Well,
that's why the IP thing. Like,
that's built into the system, though. You're told don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? And you always get those idiots who do.
We all know that people don't listen to that advice.
Yeah, but you always get those idiots who, like, oh my God, this company's going great. I'll have all 100 million in that one company. 2 years later, they go belly up, and they get like, I'm just out of luck,
Well, it's gambling, is what it is. The only way you can get around the gambling aspect is if you say, hey, I know for a fact this thing's going to take off because it doesn't have all this other nonsense behind it. It's literally a sincere project or whatever, and people like it. Same thing for like Baldur's Gate 3, Valheim, all like these little.
Well, no.
projects
difference
and even some of the big
between
ones.
gambling and investment is the gambling has no insurable risk. So
Well,
that's the legal definition. So like gambling, there's no when you put money on something in gambling, you have no risk. Like you don't own anything; you're just betting money. Whereas when you invest in something, you have a legit loss. There's a legit business there that could be the win or loss. Now, I don't. I mean, yes, Nintendo is being stupid, but they're a private company. They're allowed to be stupid. I think they're going to come back to bite them in the ass. Um, I think they're still holding up because Nintendo has been Nintendo. Japan has been the least hit by the wolf virus of any country in the world.
yeah. And we're really proud of Japan for that, but then Japan pulls this nonsense, and we're like, can't say I love you for that. But speaking of
Well,
Baldur's Gate 3, Larian boss Sven Vinske, I don't know how to say it. I don't understand Polish
Vinky,
or whatever.
I would say
Swedish or
Vinky.
whatever. Vinky, Sven Vinky, says the studio is deep in the trenches on its crazy ambitious follow up to a Baldur's Gate 3. Hopes to show it off no later than 2030 because my wife will divorce me if it takes longer. I don't think
T30.
he's being serious. He's like, I hope that definitely 5 years from now I can tell you about it. So this guy's a legend. Just want to point that out. Like Larian is a legendary studio. This guy's a legend for basically telling other studios off for their
Mm-hmm.
terrible ideas, terrible implementation, and horrible treatment of fans. But in a video with GameSpot, Larian founder and CEO revealed a little bit more about its much anticipated next project, as well as everything the studio is doing to make itself a well-oiled RPG machine that still keeps its developers happy and excited. After an 8-year journey on Baldur's Gate 3, Larian wanted to go out with a bang by delivering its new additions in Patch 8, then handing over to the modders. Larian does still remain on call for bug fixes and compatibility support, but he added never say never regarding any surprises. But he joked that he painfully remembered how much work it is to make a game now that Larian is deep in the trenches on our next thing, but he also says that it's shaping up quite well, actually. It's crazy ambitious. But the studio is also mixing things up this time, with the second project also in the works for later down the line. And he said the new method is not the easiest thing in the universe because we make very complicated games, lots of permutations, lots of agency for players, which personally I like. I enjoy that. I want them to make an more of a kind of like a counter to Bethesda in terms of like a new Elder Scrolls series, because they do so well on the agency aspect. I want them to do like a Skyrim, because like Skyrim's legendary status in terms of all the things that you can do in it, and you don't even have to do the main story. You can just have so much fun, hours and tens of hours, hundreds of hours, thousands of hours into that game. Probably even millions of hours by now, considering how long it's been out. But you can have millions of hours in that game that's fun, and it just keeps getting re-released, and people keep buying it because it's freaking fun. It's good. So if they did that, but without the bugs, and you get agency, and they're doing as well as they're doing, they could absolutely rock the video game world. It'd be the next biggest thing right behind, GTA 6. I mean, GTA 6 is getting released sooner than it, so it makes sense. But he's like, the reason behind the change was to address a major pain point in the game development, lurching start of pre-production into production and back again. During the earliest high-level design phases of a project, devs in charge of more granular aspects of the final game, animation, 3D modeling, scripting, and more, can be left idling until the game's direction and schedule is set. When the very large group is finished, says Vink, and the other people are at the beginning are not ready, then everybody is screwed because everybody has to wait. That's what we're trying to avoid, which I understand and I appreciate, but that's why you can have them work on concepts and stuff like that, and then have them merge to the concept and the actual stuff in at once would be the easiest way. I think you could do that. But he says you can see variations of this problem and attempts to address it elsewhere in the industry. Some other developers that skipped over crucial pre-production phase altogether to speed up development helped doom a now canceled Disco Elysium expansion. BioWare saw massive layoffs recently and reassignments elsewhere in EA as much of the Dragon Age, the Veilguard team has nothing to do while the Mass Effect 5 was in pre-production. Vink's plan actually reminds me of what fellow RPG studio Obsidian has been doing, but at a larger scale and with bigger projects. Obsidian has been notably disciplined about the scope of its recent games. Remind me what Obsidian made recently, because I'm pretty sure it was trash, wasn't it? Was it Obsidian who did Dragon Age?
Um, Dragon Age. Dragon Age. I don't remember, to be honest.
Obsidian did something, and I'm pretty sure whatever it was here recently flopped hard, which is weird because Obsidian's known to be a really good studio. And I always have to remind myself, and apparently everybody else as well, that just because people in a company, like the company itself, worked on a game that you enjoyed or loved or it's very close to your heart, doesn't mean that the same people work on those games now in that studio, which means that
Yeah.
they might as well be different studios. Because the same people who freaking do, Fallout New Vegas, and I think they also did Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2.
Well,
I'm pretty
so
sure those people don't work for those companies, and therefore you can't expect them to do the same things. Same thing for Witcher 4. The same people who worked on Witcher 3, most of the major players that made everything what it was, the magic of Witcher 3, they don't work there anymore at CD Projekt Red.
well, here's the deal. All right. So the companies, the wanting of two things, right? Uh, they want money, or they want a successful game, or both. And
I think both is the better option.
well, no, but bear with me. Uh, so Witcher, for example, for a long time they want to make money and want a great game, so they produce 2.5 great games, right? Um,
2.5.
well, I don't know. I mean, all three of the Witcher games. There's one problem that I have all three Witcher games is to constantly change the control scheme.
Yeah,
Like
well, they were trying to improve it, and the problem was they didn't have an improved version from the beginning. Like they're trying to do the whole block, and I'm like, I appreciate it, but you should make that a side, like a thing that you can switch, kind of like the difference between a keyboard and mouse and a controller scheme. That's how you should change it. But you
yeah.
should always just have a standard, just like attack system, like just a basic one, which is basically what they
Well,
ended
what
up
they should
doing
have
in
done, this would irk me
4
greatly
or
for
3.
Witcher 1 to Witcher 2. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
I struggled with Witcher 1 and Witcher 2 because their control schemes were freaking weird.
there
And
should have been the option for Witcher 2 players to use the Witcher 1 control scheme. And
or Witcher
initially
1 to
there
do
wasn't.
Witcher 2. I want all of them to use Witcher 3 because Witcher 3 is superior in my opinion, but
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that would have been okay too. But
well,
so
it's the
I
same thing
played,
like Kingdom Come Deliverance did the whole, aim the direction you want, but the problem is that when you aim, it also moves your camera. It doesn't just move your hands. It moves everything and it just looks really wonky. I didn't like it. I was like, just give me the ability to block, parry, which is like basically block at the exact time, and then give me an attack ability and make it
no, the
work.
thing is,
But
for those who don't play video games, like, let's say you're playing a game, you memorize the control scheme for it, right? And then
go to a different
every
game.
time you don't play it, like, it becomes like muscle memory,
Yeah.
like riding a bike or whatever. Then you go back and play that game, even a year later, and you can still play it.
Well,
Along comes the sequel.
not necessarily because when I played Halo 3 back in the day, I knew that one inside out. And then Call of Duty Black Ops came out. And then I went to Call of Duty Blackout. Call of Duty Black Ops. I couldn't play for crap because the controls were entirely different. And it freaking
That's what
threw
I'm
me off.
getting at, right? That's what I'm getting at. Um, Generally speaking, from version of a game to version of a game, the controls mostly stay the same, at least on the PC side. And um,
They
when you,
should, yes.
that's what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
when you do what they did with Witcher, and don't give you the option to revert and use game one commands or whatever,
Yeah.
I mean, that take me. I barely played 3 at all because of that. You know,
3's so
and
freaking good.
well, initially I didn't play 3 for that. Plus, my computer at the time would barely run it.
Like
So I got
I understand the draw to being able to block left, block right, block top, block bottom. I get that, but that's a VR thing. That's not a controller
no.
and keyboard crap.
I'm not talking about whether the controls are great. Witcher 1 controls are horrible.
They
Okay.
are atrocious, is what they are.
But you spend time learning them and intuiting them, right? It's just like let's go with Witcher. World of Warcraft controls are honestly very tedious. Okay, and
7,000 buttons. It's not
well,
tedious.
that's an interesting feature in the modern game that will automate that. So instead of pressing, anyway, let's get sidetracked. The point is, you learn your button config on your character, on your with your spec and all that, and you can do that config fairly easily to play the game. But then every year, Blizzard would make you have to change mods and the mod. Um, the point I'm getting at is when you even if it's a bad controller set, when you finally learn to control it in your brain with that automatic patterning, and then the company goes and changes it, what is functionally the same game, just in a version 2.0, it makes you not want to go to. You're like, why do I don't want to do all that work again?
Well, yeah, there's that, but it's also like allegedly they're remaking Witcher 1. If they made the controls better, I would probably consider playing it, but I'm hesitant
I would
because I
only
don't believe
reconsider
they're going to be
playing
better.
Witcher One again if they remade it. If you can still use the original controller set.
That's the thing is that it should, but the problem wasn't the controller set per se; it was the controller scheme, like how the game operates. With like the same thing in Kingdom Come Deliverance, how you operate the combat
Well,
was
okay.
locked. You couldn't get
No
around that.
amount of since I've already learned how to play Witcher One, no amount of like phenomenal resonance has is going to make me want to play it again.
No matter what, will.
Since I already know how to play Witcher One, no amount of phenomenal resonance has. I mean, whatever they put into the remade version of the game,
Well,
in and of itself,
they're allegedly censoring a bunch of stuff too because
in and of
women can't have
itself,
breasts, but
is
that's
going to
okay.
make me want to play the game again because I already, if it's a different controller scheme, because I'm not going to do. I personally will not.
I don't remember very much of it except that I was miserable trying to play it. That I do remember. The rest of it I don't. So I could get back into it and say, "Hey, I've played 100 bazillion games since then, and I've slept since then." So I can go in it with a fresh mind and be like, "Oh, I like these controls. As
Well,
long as I like the
maybe that's
controls, I
you.
can
I'm
go."
not. I can't. I'm not gonna. Once I master the format of playing a game.
I mean, was that the last game you played until now, or because
No, I
I
play. The only games I played recently are the Blizzard ones, while Warcraft, Starcraft, plus
because
Age of
I
Empires.
have to
And to be honest,
completely
I haven't
remap
played
my
a single.
mind when I play a game.
I don't think I played a single video game past February of this year, just because of the sitting problem. I do want to get back to it, but it's just
It's
believe it or
difficult.
not,
Yeah,
that's something.
I get that, but I'm saying like every time I play a different game that has different schematics and everything, but they're in the same genre, like going from Halo, a first person shooter, to Call of Duty Black Ops, first person shooter, with entirely different maps
Okay, well, let me put it this
schemes.
way: Blizzard has kept the controls from StarCraft One and Two mostly the same for
Sure,
20 years,
sure,
right? So if they make a StarCraft 3 with that in mind, I feel sit right down and just start playing the game.
sure.
You know,
I don't have a problem with learning a new system. I just want the new system to make sense and feel right. And Witcher 1 didn't feel right. Witcher 2 didn't feel right either, but it felt better. Like it's like Witcher 1 was atrocious, Witcher 2 was just horrible, and Witcher 3 was great. Like if they make Witcher 4 and it's not terrible, which it has to be by definition of the story, but if it was like the gameplay was okay, I'd say like yeah, they're progressing that. I don't feel confident that because Witcher 3 team is not there, so Witcher 4 is an entirely different squad with maybe the
yeah.
exception of one person. It's not going to make that much difference.
Well, odds are it's going to be a woke piece of shit.
Yeah, but I'm talking just from a mechanical perspective. I don't think they have the capacity and enough experience to make
Well,
that a
the
smooth transition
the
of game.
the level of talent who does this woke piece of shit, generally speaking, don't have the skill set to do a good game.
Yeah.
They go hand in hand.
And they're just talking about it'd be an all-time bit to have one of those new games be Divinity Original Sin 3, and the other one just Divinity 3. Uh, but there are also some Dragon Commander 2 wanters on the PCG
Mhm.
team. I
Yeah.
mean, I think I have most of those, but I love Larian Studios. I want them to stay the way they are. I want them to keep making good games. I want them to just put out
Yeah,
games for gamers. Don't throw anything unnecessary into it. Just throw in what it is
games for
necessary for it
gamers.
to be. Huh?
Games for gamers.
That's the whole, yeah, games for gamers. And that's the thing. And I have to say this every time I bring up Larian because there's always that one detractor in the comments. But it's Baldur's Gate 3 was woke because you could have sex with a bear. And it's like any content in Baldur's Gate 3 you had to actually manually choose. So if you're not woke, you'd never reach any of those conclusions. Same thing. If you wanted to have a homosexual relationship between two guys or two girls, you had to manually do it. It
Wait,
itself was not woke.
you weren't forced to play a purple-haired samurai chick with wielding a sword and a robot hand in World War II?
Bald one. You forgot bald. Or shaved head, I guess. Yeah,
She's purple-haired
basically,
and shaved.
yeah. Well, I think one was a side shave purple hair, but the actual main person on the front,
Yeah.
I think, was like full shaved. But yeah, essentially the same thing. It's like, oh, that we're hitting all the check boxes. They're like missing a limb,
And
but
I'm
they're
waiting to
also
see what
women.
checkboxes they have with Battlefield 6 now.
From what I understand, it's pretty clear of all that stuff.
We'll
There's
see.
other stuff I'm a little concerned about. Like I saw a clip where somebody drove a tank on top of a jet, and then the jet took off, and the tank's up in the air, blowing planes out of the sky. I'm like, that tank would weigh more than the plane, guys. It wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to take off, and it would crush the plane to get on to it.
Highly unrealistic, but fun.
Well, yes, but like the realism is why we play those games. Otherwise,
Well,
you do cartoony graphics and make it basically time splitters.
yeah.
You like will you play, if you don't care about realism, they would just keep popping
Well,
out
if they had
Star Wars.
like
Even Star Wars, they're
if they
putting
had
out
a,
new ones.
if they had
Realistic.
like a crazy mode option,
Sure.
normal
If
mode,
if it
yeah,
was a separate mode that was separate from the
yeah,
regular game modes, I wouldn't have any problems with it. But when
yeah.
somebody goes to like because when Black Ops came out, we played for the realistic aspects, not for the Fortnite aspects. You play Fortnite for Fortnite aspects, you don't play that. And the same thing is like play War Thunder,
Mhm.
World of Tanks, whatever. It's all about physics. It's all about historical accuracy to some extent, and it's it's realistic. Like going up a hill in War Thunder is painful because tanks don't in the World War One, World War Two era didn't have very strong engines, so they can't just right up hills.
Well,
War Fortnite, you just right up, and so like we're looking at when this tank gets on top of this plane, the tracks are like an upside down V. That's not how tanks work. So it's
yeah,
like that was weird. Shooting a plane like I've in War Thunder, I've shot a plane out of the sky with a tank through trees, mind you. So I did really freaking good, lucky
that'd be a
accuracy.
shot.
It's a freaking weird way to do it. I got the achievement to prove it, but it's just I've never done it again. But it can be done. So being on, if hypothetically speaking, you could put a tank on top of a jet and fly it around and shoot at the airplane. Yeah, you could shoot an airplane out of the
Yeah.
sky, but that tank literally weighs like 3, 4 jets. It's not going to freaking do that. Like jets are moderately light because of what they have to do. Tanks are not light. Light tanks aren't light. They're called light tanks because they're lighter than other tanks. And we'll get back to the Wheel of Time color scheme. But point being, I don't think Black Ops 6, Battlefront, Battlefield 6. I'm going through all the dice games. I don't think it'll be woke. I do think there'll be some silliness aspects to it, but I think that's just because the people making the game don't understand all the details that they should need to know. But it looks fun. I just wish they had stamina bars because people run like full on sprint with 90 pounds of gear on their back or 150 pounds of gear on their back indefinitely is not realistic in any shape or form. That's just not. And I don't like the Call of
Well,
Duty zip zip
it
zip
might
zip
be
zip 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 zip
because
zip 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 movement system. It
because of the way
sucks.
that Battlefield 6 works. It might be that you can enable or disable the viewing of the bar.
No, like literally, I watched people in the beta and they just ran indefinitely. There was no bar.
No, but they might not have enabled it. So,
Well, it's a
it's
beta.
saying
They're supposed to enable it to see how it works.
unless they're in the part that does it without it.
Maybe, and hopefully they do, but I don't think they will because all of the professional FPS shooters would probably riot because they can't sprint omnidirectional in any direction at
Well, one
100
of
miles
the
an hour because that's how shooters
one of
shoot.
the realism standards is judging your endurance without needing a bar.
Sure, I'm not saying I need an actual physical bar. I'm just saying I need a stamina limit because it's one thing to sprint. I'm all for sprinting. Although Battlefield 1 had a terrible sprint system because you had to click and hold to get it. It wasn't a toggle, it was a click and hold, and
Yeah.
it hurt my thumb a lot. And there was no way to adjust that. It was the way it
Hmm.
was. And it's stupid.
Yeah.
But in this, having like imagine what it would look like. Imagine being like the Taliban or Al Qaeda or somebody, and American troops come running on the field with guns. Right? They're running on the field with guns, and then they start omnidirectional moving. Like just imagine how stupid that would look. To see people like running omnidirectional, and like the Taliban and Al Qaeda be looking at each other like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Why are Americans crazy? Like they would look at us like we're a bunch of clown people because we look like a bunch of digital freaking weirdos on the battlefield. It's like no. This is supposed to be a legit battlefield experience. Like you're on the battlefield. You're doing
Yeah.
battlefield battle.
Yeah. Well, the Battlefield is realism and historical accuracy are single of the game. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other symbol of the game is capture points and stuff like that. But you're like, why does this look more like a Call of Duty on a big field? That's literally all it looks like at this point to me. So I'm not sure how I feel about it. But by all intents and purposes, everything else looks pretty good, I guess. Obviously, besides the tank on the jet
Mhm.
thing, that was just a silliness that they figured out. But hey, if that's the biggest crime they commit, I'm happy compared to everything else they've been doing.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's see. Now, this is more or less the main topic. I think this is all the main topic. Yeah. I forgot I had a lot of these.
It's
So,
only 10 o'clock.
only. Well, 9 o'clock, but yes. Um, no, this is a joke, partially by Grums. It's like the year is 2025. Cup sizes beyond B have been banned. Hips have been banned. Waists have been banned. Shoulders are mandated by law to be equal to men. If still too attractive, necks must be removed to protect women for their own good. And we see that here.
Oh.
Because it's like just because Bandai Namco is a piece of trash. Does Bandai Namco raise its ESG score similar to the houses in Harry Potter? Copy paste broad-shouldered body type Bs. 50 points to Gryffindor. And what we can see are literally manly women. It's freaking weird. And I've always wondered about this for video games because it doesn't make sense.
Mhm.
Because the body should be easy to do in video games because you can literally do whatever you want. But somehow they always make their elbow bends look freaking rubbery. It's like a fat suit that they do on Thor, where
Well,
like he bends and it makes this
the
unnatural ripple, and you're like, oh, it's just
all
as
that
fat. Like,
research
it's not fat.
development in the boob management, you should move to elbow management.
Yeah. Well, that ties into this one. What happened to Asuka?
Get
Well,
more manly.
but how does game development go from this to this like a decade later or something? I just can't understand how you can scale back so hard that it's like you shot a rubber band and it came back and slapped you in the face, and now you're mentally retarded. Because there's by no definition does the one on the right not look like a dude with boobs.
The one on the right looks like
Like
maybe a 3, like a 3 or 4 on a scale of 1 to 10. The one on looks like maybe a 6 or 7.
that's a man. But this one, older Tekken, looks like a female. Looks like she knows how to fight. She's got the proper gear. She's ready to rumble. She doesn't look unnatural. She looks normal. This one, holy freaking arms, holy body shape. Like this is like a bodybuilder male that they try to squeeze into like the hourglass figure. Like this whole upper body is definitely a dude's body. They just pulled boobs
Mhm.
on it. The head doesn't even look natural.
Yep.
And, thankfully, we can't see below because I'd probably be terrified to see that. So obviously, the developers don't know what the frick they're doing. So I got this one. Exhibit B, left, Tekken 8, 2024. Right, Dead or Alive 5 in 2012. Now,
Hmm.
aside from what you consider like this shoulder thing, that's swimmer's arm or whatever, or I've seen people with like their necks and their shoulders are like flat, like it's a flat thing across, kind of like this, but this has a little slightly more angle. I don't know what's wrong with them, but they have like a body structure defect or something, I think, because that doesn't look normal. Like you'd have to be an abnormality to have that body type. This one at least looks better than the other one because the whole upper body doesn't look muscular. It's just the shoulders look freaking weird.
Yeah.
But compare it to this, like just graphically wise, this in 2012 is better.
Oh yeah.
Just graphically. And the shoulders on this one, her shoulders are closer to her. They're not sticking out. So it makes sense that they're at the base of her neck. This one, they're not anywhere near her neck. And so it looks really freaking weird. Not to mention, boobs obviously look better here than they do here. But Dead or Alive 2 had better freaking female figures than this.
Hmm.
I would know because I have all the Dead or Alives up to 5. I
Well, the
didn't play
modern
6,
one, it
but
looks like she's maybe a 5 out of 10, and the
I don't
one right.
know. That I still am very suspect on those shoulders. That would warn me away probably. That one, that right there is at least an 8 out of 10 minimum.
That's 7, 8. Yeah, pretty good.
I say minimum, but eh. And then I think this is somebody who works on it from Tekken. Just tweaking now, also fixing a bug where character proportions like Asaka or Asuka's Asuka, I don't
Oscar,
freaking Asuka,
Oscar.
and others are being incorrectly compiled with the same values, hoping to get that sorted out in the next patch. This is this character. Someone explain that to me. How this on the right and technically the left is this character.
Why does she have that weird hair color?
I mean, eye color. Her hair color's not weird.
It looks blue or green.
Oh, it's lighting. But like now they have boobs. Okay. Now her shoulders aren't equal with the top of the base of her jaw and everything. Like she actually has a neck. But this doesn't even look the same as this character.
Nope.
Like this character. This is the character.
Yeah.
This came before. But to say that somehow this is the same character, their eye color's not even the same. Her eye color here is like a purplish hazel or something. Here
Well,
it's personally.
I guess they don't want sales. You know.
They must be really hurting themselves. But they're like, oh, this was being incorrectly. It was just a bug, guys. It's just a bug. Well, Grum's posted saying this is what winning looks like. Woke is dead. Feminine boons are back. I don't want to say boons. These boobs, but yeah, they claim it was just a bug, which may be true. Question mark? I don't think so. No. And then it's posted by Axel. I don't buy that it wasn't intentional. They're calling it a bug now and fixing it to make it look like they're the good guys. This dude sold out as hard as any other woke Japanese dev. Tekken's crap. Street Fighter's crap. The only good fighters are DOA and Soul Calibur. So DOA, Soul Calibur.
Man, I remember when I loved Tekken.
I remember playing the snot out of Tekken 3 in the arcades. I just
Tekken
didn't.
was great.
I didn't have a PlayStation, so I couldn't do it. But
Yeah.
they made
I
such
love Tekken. I loved Tekken until I found DOA. Then I was like,
Dead or
boobs.
Alive. Yeah, oops. I have the Dead or Alive thing here. That's the console thing for Xbox 360, for specifically for Dead or Alive 4. Dead or Alive was the fighter I had access to because I love Tekken. King was my jam, but I couldn't play because I didn't have a PlayStation, so I only got to play it at arcades, and I stopped going to those rather early in my life because it cost too much money. I mean, by the time I got done with the arcades, I probably could have bought 4 or 5 PlayStations. But I didn't have access to like Street Fighter and all that stuff, and I didn't really like Street Fighter that much anyway. I know that's heresy, but I've never found it fun. The graphics were too funny. I liked that one Clay Fighter game on Super Nintendo. That was fun. But I mean, I found Dead or Alive. I got the Ultimate Edition. Then I got Dead or Alive 3. Eventually Dead or Alive 4. And then I got Dead or Alive 5 was meh. It was okay. Dead or Alive 6 was a disappointment. Dead or Alive 5 and Dead or Alive 6 were kind of a disappointment because they went so hardcore on DLC. We're like,
Mm.
oh, we're going to sell you all these outfits. I'm like, these should be built into the game that I can unlock, like the old games. And they're like, no, we're going to make separate. You could spend somewhere like $3,000 to buy all the freaking outfits and character differences, and you're paying like $100 for like 8 outfits. Like, that's it. I'm like, guys, if I go buy another game of this game for 50, 60 bucks, I get more than 8 outfits in that entire thing. So you cannot tell me that this is
The amount of money I've heard people spend on like stuff like that in video games, you could pay a real woman in real life to model it for you. You know what I mean? It's like,
and record them and have them forever. Yes.
yeah.
Heck, I could probably pay her to do the mocap and apply all the stuff, digitally afterwards or whatever. Just like get her body figure and everything. Have her do all the moves and all the functions for a variety of characters. Like maybe she's an MMA type character or person that can do, karate, can do aikido, can do taifu or tai chi. Sorry, not taifu. Do all the different types of martial arts and just have her just keep doing that. Or I could pick other characters, other people, and by that time, I probably spend less money to design than this because it's stupid. It's really stupid. But they're like, people are using this as another example of why Tekken 8 sucks, etc. But this bug is not a Tekken 8 bug. Tekken has fundamentally used the same underlying battle system code for more than 20 years. That's not necessarily a good thing. The stuff that makes Tekken feel like Tekken. It can make it feel like Tekken, but it's not always like Tekken. This is a scripting bug that occurred from Tekken 4 to Tekken 5, the likelihood being a minor error when they ported Brian's moveset between those games. Still a bug. Because it wasn't caught by the testers or players that publicly flagged back in T5, it's quietly persisted through T5DR, T6, Tag 2, Rev, T7, and now T8. How it missed all those other games and is now Tekken 8, I don't know. But also, you could argue that it's a different design. There have been a handful of scripting quirks throughout each entry, only for them to finally be fixed in T8 due to them being displayed publicly online. I think it's a bit unfair to either slam either team when 99.9% of the people don't even know this is an issue 20 years later. Now, I appreciate that they're showing this kind of stuff, and I appreciate that they're acknowledging the bugs. And I think one of the greatest things you should do for a game is keep it as accurate to as realistic as you can, because if you don't make it realistic, like right now this guy's foot, it's I don't know if you noticed how the feet are shaded, but it looks like they're floating because they technically are floating. They're not actually touching the ground. That bothers me about games, because it's like, guys, you don't have to be here. Just touch the ground, like touch grass, as they say.
Well, look, you're gonna get lazy programming sometimes in the games. I agree.
I mean, innovation happens because they see these problems and they try to adjust accordingly. Like now his foot's under the ground all the freaking way. But point being is like the input lag between like you saying to do something and them responding, because in real life, you dodging, it's going to be faster than you pushing a button.
Yeah.
So they need to make it fit as closely as they possibly can. And I don't know if that means a special controller for the game. I don't know if that means whatever the case is, but they should be making it as fast paced as you can, because while a player can perceive something ahead of schedule, like before it ever actually hits that point, it's not guaranteed that they're going to actually get that outcome. It's the same issue I have when two guys like punch and they both go, oh, and they both fall over and then they have to get back up. It's like, but how do you get that from a punch? I don't understand, because some of the stuff, it's like they just gave up and said, I don't know how to do this, therefore meh. Like I love these games. I just think I've been notoriously bad at them as well. Like I'm not extremely good at fighter games. I'm not even that great at Dead or Alive. Like I can beat the campaign mode, I can unlock some stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm not like phenomenal. Like there's always that one character I struggle with like super hard, because I keep like they make these combos so bloody complicated when it could be as simple as something like Smash Bros. Because Smash Bros took a whole bunch of movesets and made them easy and understandable and not complex in terms of how to activate them, but complex in how to use them. I don't know if you ever played any wrestling video games. Did you ever play any of those? Or
Back in the day, yeah, like the like older version of WWE 2K
what game systems though? Like what system age?
on N64, on
Okay.
PlayStation,
Did you ever get to
GameCube.
Xbox 360?
When did it come out?
2006, 2007,
I might have had one.
2009, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
Well, they have a game series called Rumbling Roses, and it's literally just female wrestlers. That's all it is. I mean, it's very enjoyable. Let's put it that way. Well, and Rumble Roses XX, which is the second one, the graphics look pretty on par with this stuff, but the system was a little funky because unlike a fighting game, you don't just knock somebody out. You have to like get them to tap out, and I'm struggling like what the fudge is going on, because like I've just practically broke this person's back 150 times. They're not unconscious. What kind of superhuman am I dealing with? I'm like, oh, they're a 120-pound woman. What? But
well, wrestlers are superhuman, though. You gotta accept that.
I don't, because if a superhuman fights another superhuman, that superhuman can stop being superhuman. They become on the same level. They're not. Neither of them are super on their
Wrestlers
own
do
levels.
pro wrestlers do superhuman things by definition. Like all the thumbtacks and the throat and all that.
Sure. I'm not saying that. I'm saying in terms of when you have two superhumans, well, two, not four, two superhumans duking it out. Neither of them are still superhuman. They're both just human. They lose the super status because they're on the same level. A superhuman is what puts them above something. But if they're both on the same tier, they're not actually super. They're just normal.
They're super relative to other humans.
Well, they are to humans, but the humans aren't in the ring with them. Like it's a battle between those two. Like if you have a kaiju battle, like the Godzilla Destroy All Monsters, it's not about the people. It's about the kaijus. But all the kaijus are more or less on the same playing field because they're all kaijus. But they're just kaijus. They're not super kaijus. They're just kaijus. They're just normal monsters. They're not super monsters. They're just monsters because the whole concept is, philosophically speaking, they're on the same one.
Crossing terms, okay? When you refer to someone as superhuman, you're talking relative to normal human.
Yes.
Not relative to other superhumans.
Yes. Now, if you had a superhuman in combat with a human, it would make sense to refer to him as superhuman. Now, I'm separating this from their actual traditional title as they have superpowers more than a human. I'm saying when you put people in the same room, it's like an amateur and a professional. You refer to them as an amateur and a professional. But if you put two professionals in the same room, you don't call them professionals and expect it to be like some special thing.
I mean, I do it all the time.
Well, sure. I'm not saying you can't use it. I'm saying it doesn't make sense to say, and here you have a professional playing a professional. And it's like, yeah, we're in a professional sport of professionals.
And you will hear.
We don't look at football players. We don't look at football players and say, there's a professional wide receiver. Oh, there's a professional quarterback. No, we say that we know there are because they're league.
This is what a guy makes a big catch. Goes, this is what a pro wide receiver looks like on the field, gentlemen.
Oh, shoot, I didn't share this tab. My bad. I forgot to share this tab.
Or they'll say, when two pro martial arts are going at, this is what professional martial arts look like, guys. You know, so they'll say that.
Sure, but I'm saying, like, if you go watch a football game for the NFL, which is a professional league, you don't say that's a professional wide receiver. That's a professional quarterback.
Yes, people do it all the time.
We say we know that they're a professional because they're in a professional league. Now, you can mention they're a rookie because they're new, like it's their first time.
No,
but you don't mention them as like
pro football commentators refer to professional athletes as pro athletes all the time in terms of commentating.
I don't remember that, but maybe they've changed it in years.
They'll say stuff like, for decades, they'll say stuff like, this is how a pro athlete should act, or this catch is always how a pro athlete would make the catch, or that's how a pro quarterback would make that throw, you know?
That just seems weird. I would understand the terms amateur or not amateur, rookie and veteran.
Just because someone is a professional athlete or professional anything does not mean they always act like one.
Well, it's like if I'm saying, and that Matt character, he's a real bear, when you're obviously like a literal bear on screen like right now. Like you're a bear.
Well, that's apples to oranges.
No,
In
it's
the
you're
context,
referring to somebody as something that they are obviously are. You don't have non-professional football players in a professional football league. They're by definition professionals. So to say professional, it's like saying professional. It's
just
redundant. It's
because,
stupid.
okay, here's the context of the commentary. Just because they're professional athletes in a professional league doesn't mean they act like professionals.
Okay, well, if a superhuman wrestler, let's say they're super powered or superhuman, going and saying, "Look at all these superhuman people," and then being like, "Look at that superhuman person do superhuman things." It's like that line of wording would be retarded because like
Well,
they're superhuman, so by
that's
default they
par for
are
the
saying,
course.
huh?
Par for the course in pro wrestling.
Sure,
Like,
sure. Well, they're being over the top. They're being silly. Everyone knows it's ridiculous, but they don't care because they enjoy it. That's fine. I don't mind that. But I'm saying to refer to someone as superhuman when it's just a battle between superhumans just seems weird. Like we
in the
say,
context of
I would call Godzilla, Destroy All Monsters, a fighting game. I wouldn't call it a kaiju game. I'd call it a fighting game. There are kaijus that are fighting, but I call it a fighting game because the system is built around a fighting system. I wouldn't call it superhuman games to play like Injustice or Mortal Kombat or something when they have superhuman abilities and superhuman just everything. I wouldn't call it a superhuman game. I'd call it a fighting game. Like I think we use specific terms philosophically and grammatically to explain things. And then there's the people, which I personally would consider lower IQ. That's saying a lot for me. But to refer to something as the same thing that it already is, that's plain. Like we don't go and say, WWE is like we acknowledge it's quote unquote pro wrestling. So we wouldn't go and say, well, here's this new guy, Joe Schmo or whatever his name is. Pick a random new person, say, oh, he's about to experience the real world of professional, and it's like, well, if he's a rookie, yes, not if he's a superhuman, no. If he's a superhuman, he's already experienced superhuman because he's been super more than humans. That's why he's here. Like it wouldn't make sense to say that like, oh, there's Red Joe. Why do you call him Red Joe? Well, he's painted red. So why call him Red Joe? Why don't you just call him Joe? Or change call him Crimson Killer Joe or something. Like, don't make it sound stupid as it sounds, because it sounds really stupid. I get that it happens. I just don't think it should happen that way. I think it should be like, maybe I'm just a sucker for like language making sense and being like romantic, like using words that actually mean a definition of what you're trying to convey.
I get what you're saying, but there's a cultural context in pro wrestling, for example, where you can
Screw
refer
the
to them as
culture.
pro wrestlers. Funny enough, Vince McMahon did not want his pro wrestlers called pro wrestlers for 15 years. He wants them called superstars.
Sure. And I would say superstars is more effort than pro wrestler. But it's like when you have like a pro wrestler that's a superstar or a superhuman or whatever you to call it, and he's like standing there, and then another pro wrestler, superstar, superhuman walks in. They're like, it's like you literally fight these guys on a daily basis. Why is this news to you? Like,
well,
you're not surprised that a superhuman walks down to fight you, the superhuman.
There's another thing in pro wrestling where
you really sell you sell the concept. I get that, yeah.
Well, no, like something that happened 3 weeks ago doesn't exist anymore. So, for example, in
they were good. Sorry.
In around 2000, Triple H was, I think, wrestling the Big Show, the Giant, and the Giant put him in a dumpster, hit him with a car or a truck, and threw the dumpster over a cliff. Okay.
With a lot of screen cuts, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Well, the outside was probably like pre-filmed. Yeah, that's
well, yeah. I'm just saying, like, they didn't actually put him in that.
Goes, oh my God, Triple H has died. He's died on camera. He's dead.
Sure, that's not what I'm talking about.
Bear with me. The next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we were told Triple H is dead. They had a funeral and everything. Okay. A month later, Triple H comes back, and Triple H goes, oh my God. JR goes, oh my God, Triple H is risen from the dead, like Jesus. He's risen from the dead. And they sold Triple H as having been killed and risen from the dead for 2 months. A month after that, they totally forgot that little bit. They were on his next gimmick, and and the wrestler who killed him, the Big Show, was tag teaming with him. Because that is how wrestling storylines evolve.
I think you and I have different definitions of storylines,
And
but yes,
they carry on for years. Like I'm famous for saying this. There's a wrestler, Roman Reigns, you've mentioned before,
I
right?
can't stand
And
him.
Seth Rollins, and there was John
Can't stand him
Moxley,
either, or
Dean
Brock
Ambrose.
Lesnar. I can't stand
They
any of
were in
those.
the Shield until 2005 or whatever. Okay, and they were a faction. And Triple H with the corporation broke them up by paying Rollins to be coaching Rollins. It was a heel turn, and Triple H goes, "There's always Plan B," and Rollins backstabs Dean Ambrose and uh,
Reigns.
Roman Reigns. Okay, so for years, even though that Rollins has face turned quite a bit, they've always acknowledged the bad blood between him and Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose when he was there, or Dean Ambrose from AEW. In recent times, Rollins was trying to make friends with Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns, I don't forget Plan B 20 fucking years ago. A callback to it.
Yeah.
And then Rollins did a Plan B again with a gigantic fool you. So that's just, but no one remembered that stuff for the intervening years until Roman Reigns brought it up. Like that, pro wrestling storylines are amazing when they work so well.
They're
Then
amazing
you
when
get
they're well written. They're terrible when they're not. But they can still
well,
sell.
well written within the context of pro wrestling. Okay, you need to
Well,
remember that.
well,
Okay?
even if they were well written in the terms of literature, like being
Most
extremely
of
well
them are
written.
horribly. Like
Well,
if you take
sure, yeah. Because
if
we
you
already
took
had
pro wrestling,
we had this conversation off the
even the
screen.
really
So
good ones are like horrible writing.
sure, yeah, and I get that's what I get. But I look at it from an actual writing perspective, not wrestling writing. So it's a bit weird for me. Like I understand what you're saying. I translate it to mine, and I don't think you understand when I say that. So it's probably my bad for
I
not
get what you're
explaining that.
doing, but I think you would enjoy pro wrestling more
Oh, yeah,
if you accept
I
it for what
probably
it is.
would, but that I have this problem where I can't turn my brain off. Not even when I'm sleeping, unfortunately, which means I'm not sleeping
No,
as much as I like.
redirect your brain.
I can't even do that.
You can do
No.
it. I have faith in you.
Ever since it switched on, I have not been able to not look at something and be like, no, this is crap. Like
Faith in you.
no, but it's like if I go see a movie, I'm so skeptical at every single movie. I don't even want to go see the movies. I don't want to go to the movies unless it's something I specifically know is going to be free of any of Hollywood's influence or something. Like if John Wick 5 comes out, I'm going to see it. I don't care about anything else. Keanu Reeves is in it, and he does really good, just like actual fighting
Yeah.
kung fu stuff. I know the story's not realistic. I know you don't fall from 3-story buildings and survive normally. I get all that. I mean, it's not like he just got up and walked
Maybe
away from it.
you don't fall from 5-story buildings and survive normally.
Well, what I was saying is that I know that he didn't just
I'm kidding you.
stand up and walk away.
I'm messing with you, dude. I'm
Oh,
messing with you.
well, everyone does. I take things literally. Thank you.
Yeah.
You can't pull a fast one on me because I'm too stupid to think it.
Yeah.
But no,
Um,
I just that kind of mentality kind of weirds me out. So when I'm playing Rumble Roses, because I picked it up and I was like, man, I haven't played this since Xbox 360 days. I'll just because we had been talking about wrestling on the back end and everything. And I was like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. I haven't played it. It's still backwards compatible on the Xbox Series X. So I pop it in, and I'm like, these controls are freaking whack, and they have a weird system where like, do this to counter, except the counter only happens if a light flashes. Like if the light flashes, you can counter, but otherwise you can't. I'm like,
yeah.
shouldn't it just be counterable no matter what? Like that's the shindig, right? Like because if you counter a block up top or something up
Mhm.
top and they kick below, well, you don't
Yeah.
counter it. So it's timing. It's where you have to guess where they're gonna go. What are they gonna do? Are they gonna come like jump and attack? Are they gonna attack? Are they gonna low kick? Are they gonna high kick? Low punch? A high punch? Whatever the case might be. Are they gonna grapple? Are they not gonna grapple? And they have a lot of stuff in the tag team system. It's really weird for me to understand. I'm just probably just bad at it because I am good at some games, other games I'm not. It is what it is. But I had fun, but I'm like, I want to unlock stuff.
Well,
I want to unlock the different outfits. I want to unlock different venues. I want to unlock more of the story. There's not really a story though, at least that I found, or maybe I haven't played the story. I don't know. It's a very
well,
old school style, but
The
I found
control
it
system,
very interesting.
the control system on most wrestling games that are more than 5 years old suck.
Probably. But my thing is I treat it as like a knockout should always be viable. Because the amount of punishing damage I've done to some people in that game would have probably killed normal people. Like
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking like you could hear their bodies crunching because you're just like Blitz 2001 just or NFL Blitz 2001 just crunching them over your back and everything. Like no human or superhuman is surviving this. But yet
Well, pro
they're
wrestlers
like,
can.
well, you didn't hit the right combinations of hits and then pin me. Like I pinned you 20 times after dealing countless amounts of damage to you, and you just arbitrarily stand up and act like nothing ever happened. Because like in Super Smash Bros, as you take damage, you get a percentage, and the percentage builds up the more damage you take. And once it's at a certain amount, like 300%, it takes just a sneeze to fling you off the map because there's so much damage you can take, but then there's so much more damage you can't take. Like there's a limit. Eventually you will run out. I'm like, take that and apply it to pinning. Like that's not how they apply it to pinning, which doesn't make sense to me because I'm like, if I grapple you and hold your head in a lock, or if I'm snapping your arm while crunching the rest of your body over there, doing that to your arm doesn't affect your ability to kick out of a freaking pin. Like it doesn't make sense to me how I'm supposed to pull it. And maybe it's because I overthink things, which I definitely do. But when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I just did like 6,000 hit points worth of damage to your 50 hit point health bar. Anything I do to you should be done.
Yeah.
Because I can absolutely damage them. It's just I can't get it to finish without it being luck. Like I just happened to hit the right button, or I happened to hit my ultimate attack, and it happened to do the right finish. But like even the ultimate meter is random, where it's like you need to have enough points to do the thing. I'm like, it's the bar's full. I should be able to hit this button whenever. They're like, no. You can only hit that button in a particular scenario at a particular time when the particular person is in a particular place in a particular way. And I was like, that's not an ultimate. It's literally the opposite of an ultimate. But I do enjoy climbing on the ring ropes or whatever. I don't know the technical term for them.
Going to the top rope.
Yeah, going to the top rope and then jumping off and just hitting them because I have the main girl who's got short hair and like a red bikini bra. I don't know what you call it. It's very little close, but she does this thing where she like flips herself forward and like lands on you, but she doesn't even have to be on a rope for it. She just does it on the thing normally. It's just fun to do. It's like doing a forward flip and just landing on somebody over and over again. And I'm like, this is fun. It's just there's so many combinations to keep track of and all these different things that you're like, oh, I could use this ability, I could use this ability. I'm just like spamming buttons because I don't know what to do. And then you have to spam buttons to get out of locks and stuff. And they seem to do it easily, even though you've done like 300% more damage than they've done to you. And then you struggle on yours. It's artificial difficulty in my opinion. But again, if you did systems where it was Super Smash Bros. System put into a normal wrestling, I think it would complement each other extremely well. And then you could have moments where like, oh, you're about to get knocked out. And then you hit like a perfect parry. And that parry gives you like a revitalization where you have like Iron Will or something. And then you could like not get tapped out when you should get tapped out normally. And you get like one of these per game or per match or whatever. And, you go at it and stuff. And like this is my very limited knowledge of wrestling. But from what I've seen, there's always like like the Undertaker moment where he's down. And they have him down. And then he just like sits up. And then he looks over and he's like, game over, bro. Game over, man. Game over. And that I think would be fun. But I don't have a gaming company to put that into play because I think I could make it work. But it is what it is. But yeah. I think that's everything I had for this particular
Yeah, that's pretty much.
which is nice because it keeps us down kind of a shorter than we normally go.
Yeah, we agree on most of the stuff. So
when Sage and potentially Arturian, but Arturian's schedule is just insane. But when Sage inevitably, hopefully, possibly, likely, maybe, I don't know, I hope so, makes his return, we need to start doing some more of those Tolkien videos. I really want to do them, but we haven't been able to as of late.
Well, we may need to do them to really want to do them.
Yes, because I love talking about Tolkien and I love correcting idiots about Tolkien, and I always have in the deepest, furthest, darkest corners of my heart and my soul hope that we get another one of those 10 out of 10. Like that was actually a really good video. Like, I want that so bad, and I'm like, I know I'm
We
not gonna
need
get
another
another one.
Hellron. We need another Hellron.
Heaven Ron, save us! Hellron, burn you! But no, yeah, I think that's everything. So hopefully we'll get more Tolkien videos
Yep.
coming out whenever we can get the gang back together. But I don't know when that is, and Sage doesn't know either. And it's kind of sad because I miss hanging out with you guys as a group. I wish, I mean, Arturian and Gadfly and everybody would come back, but thus is the life of an adult in a very unforgiving world. Anyway, what you got coming up, good sir? Or I should say, what has come up by the time
So
this
when
video
this
comes
video
out.
has aired, okay, so the video will air on Saturday or Sunday. On the Tuesday before it, on Jacob Ironside's channel, we're reviewing the Seven Samurai, the Akira Kurosawa film.
Is it the new one or the old one?
All his films are old films.
Okay, I didn't know because I know that they've done Seven Samurai multiple times in multiple
I mean,
renditions.
the Seven Samurai is arguably one of the two greatest movies of all time. I mean, you know.
Well, it can't be. It'd have to be fourth by definition because Lord of the Rings exists.
Well,
unless
not
you
that I
count,
agree.
unless you count all three of the trilogies as
Well,
one
not
movie.
that I agree that those are that great movies. Well, they're really good movies. I should say that.
Cinematically, they are fantastic. They may not be the greatest representation of Tolkien. They are fantastic movies.
They're not as good as Kurosawa's best. That being said,
I don't know.
his best movie to me is Yojimbo.
Did you ever watch Blade of the Immortal?
That's the anime.
They have an anime, but they have a live action too.
I think I've seen the live action one.
I have the series on anime. They have a manga of it as well, but the movie is brutal. Like literally, the first 5 minutes of the film, he kills 100 guys.
Yeah,
it's insane, and I'm like,
I might have seen the movie version of it.
I would recommend it. Just like do that as like a review with Remnant of the Empire or something. Like just be like, hey, we're doing these kind of old school Asian films. It's a black and white for the first part of it, and then it goes to color.
Well, no. Seven Samurai on Jacob's channel.
Jacob. Okay, never mind.
We do all the movies on Jacob's channel.
Well, it's not an older movie per se. It came out in the 2000s, but I found it to be surprisingly entertaining. Compared, like I wasn't sure if I would like it or not, and I actually liked it a lot.
Then on the Wednesday before this, Wednesday is Overbooked. We'll talk about wrestling. That's at 9 p.m. on Joker Voices channel. Okay. And this Thursday this week, on Roman's channel, it's a multi-topic show, which we do once in a while. Roman's taking the week off, and another guy running the channel.
You're running his channel, or you're just doing your own channel?
Steelwall's running his channel.
Oh, Steelwall. Okay.
Yeah. So that's my this week. I may do another little video here or there, trailer reviews or something like that. I have my Superman review that was up 2 weeks now. It's gotten decent traction. For some reason, my shit canning of Starfleet Academy has got like 100 views already, but only one like. You're gonna watch my 5-minute rip into the bar. Hit a like so your views actually count.
I mean, technically, comments are the only thing that really matter.
I had over 500 watched hours. Then when they nerfed it because only counting things that people comment on or like or dislike, I went down to 45 viewable hours.
They're killing all of the small YouTube channels. Like at this point, I'm never gonna get monetized, but I want the ability to do memberships just because I think it'd be fun, but can't even do that. So yeah. I might have to do locals just to like have something to do for the members.
Yeah, well, so that's what I got going on my channel.
Okay, I got something to mention after this that I'll mention to you, but so obviously this releases on a Sunday at noon Central Standard Time. Tuesdays, gaming live streams. They will be live. You can come hang out with yours truly.
Wait, your live streams are live?
My live streams are live as opposed to my pre-recorded live streams, which, I mean, if you've been to any of them lately, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference because there's nobody in chat. So,
I do dead streams, or I'm dead.
I mean, I might as well be dead on the inside when I do this. See, okay, this is gonna sound like a sad, sorry, but like.
Can you imagine?
This is gonna sound like a pity me post, and it's really not meant to be. It's just like I want to interact with people. People just don't want to interact with me. So when Pilgrim or Crimson, and Crimson, you scumbag, the last one you freaking said like, "Hey," and then left. You didn't say nothing the entire time when I responded to you, jerk. But when Pilgrim's in there, when he doesn't have things he has to do, he sits in there and he'll just chat with me for like an hour or 2 hours. It's great.
Mm.
We always talk about fun topics, and it's just a fun time. And when other people pop in, it's fun. Like I want to interact with people. I want to say hi. I want to get to know you. That's why I have the Discord. So like when I'm not live, you can still interact with me and still interact with the people, and you can have fun time with people. But people just don't seem to be interested. And I could have 5 people watching, and I've got one person in chat. I could have 10 people watching, one person chat. At one point, I had 51 people watching,
Yeah.
one person in chat. And it's just like
Um.
I don't get it, but whatever.
So
So
here's a
that's
scenario.
what.
Scenario. I just thought of this because
Uh-oh.
we're joking about live streaming and dead streaming. This might even be happening right now. But there could be a dude out there now or in the future who has like 1 or 2 subs, but he's chugging away to live streaming his video gaming or whatever, right? So he turns on his live stream and he never puts an automatic end to it because he always I'll go 2 3 hours and stop it manually. Dies on stream and it's continuously broadcasting dead, like a dead streaming, so to speak, at live, and no one knows because he has only like 1 or 2 subs. Dude,
I wonder if that one person who actually watches would be like, I need to call the cops and be like, this guy's dying. I need you to go
well,
to his house.
most of the time when you have 1 or 2 subs, they're bots or it's your wife or something like that. And
Well, I
so,
guarantee you I can't afford bots. So
I mean, in theory, like he could the dude could be because I was telling my mom like because no one I didn't communicate with anyone on Saturday or Sunday, right? And well, my brother Saturday morning for 10 minutes. If so, no, I could technically have died right after that, and no one would know until you would say, "Where's Matt for our broadcast?" And you'll think maybe I'm just sick or something.
I'm literally your life checkup every week. I refresh it and like, Matt, we gotta record Matt.
Yeah. But what I'm getting at is like that is the world we live in now. We're so isolated that you can literally start broadcasting, die on screen, and no one's watching it. Like you go for a week or two, and so you know what I mean?
I mean, they
Crazy.
to be fair, the way online is, people like Jake Paul, Logan Paul, and all those kind of characters, people would think you're faking it anyway.
I'm pretty
So,
sure when they see you decaying live on screen,
well,
so someone just
decaying,
said,
yes, but that would take a hot minute, and no one's gonna watch the same stream that long.
no one watching you at all is the point. But
Yeah,
they'll be recorded forever that you died and rotted up for 2 weeks with a
I
camera.
can guarantee you that would get taken off of YouTube. But yeah,
Before
well,
before YouTube could take
no,
it down.
well, yes, but as soon as somebody like said, "Hey, this person's like legit dead,"
Well, no, it's not even that. There are people recording everything that happens on YouTube,
true.
and
I
these
wish I
are
had their funds to freaking save all that backup on a hard drive.
it's like police camera helmets. They record everything they possibly can and hold it for say a month or whatever, and then see if anything pops up through someone noticing it, and go look for it in the archive.
Okay, that makes more sense. So you don't need as much space.
Yeah.
But yeah, live stream 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on Tuesdays. I have considered moving it to either 8 or 7 Central Standard Time. So you'll kind of have to. I'm kind of in between on whether I want to do that. I think I might do it early. That way, I doesn't like if I have to wake up with the kids on Wednesday. Like I don't have to be sleep deprived with the kids because that makes my day really really difficult having 2 little kids go nuts and me being partially awake where I feel like I could drop unconscious at any moment in time. So I might be doing them early and still doing, like a 6 hour live stream. Like they're
Yeah.
not short live streams. Like I do long live streams. Um, so you can pop in whatever you want. I don't know, but
He does long streams, not
I
live streams.
I would assume I will overlap with Tuesday Night Main Event, which means that if anybody from Tuesday Night Main Event fame, specifically the fans, not the people, because nobody from Tuesday Night Main Event or Geeks and Gamers General watches me. But if somebody from that's a fan of Geeks and Gamers is watching Tuesday Night Main Event, they're not going to show up for like the first 2-3 hours anyway, probably because there will probably be overlap. I don't know because it feels like Friday Night Tights and Tuesday Night Main Events are now like early afternoon. So for all I know, they could be done by that. I don't know.
Yeah, they cut into like early in them.
I mean, personally, I find Tuesday Night Main Event would be one of my favorite things to watch during the week because it is legit funny and I enjoy it a lot. But
When I started my live stream last night, I haven't gone back to since the injury. Um, I started at 4:30 Friday Pandemonium. The day I would do a little half an hour to hour, and then some people are gonna go watch me, listen to me, then go listen to Friday Night Tights, right?
yeah.
At 5, 6 o'clock. Um,
Well, I didn't
now,
pick Tuesday because it was like the best thing ever. I just picked it because it was the only day that
well,
was
no, but now,
convenient.
by the time I got a year into my live stream, or not like 8 months, Friday Night Tights was starting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, now they're overwiping you completely. Yeah, it's like Friday Night Tights is no longer Friday Night Tights because they're not doing it at night at all, and
It's
Tuesday
just,
night main event is not at night
it's
either.
just Friday Tights, you know.
Yeah, doesn't roll off the tongue
Friday,
as well.
Friday multi-hour Tights.
Yeah, they need to rewrite the song then. But yeah, and then on Fridays I do another video that's usually just me, unless this last video I did was Crimson, and we covered some stuff and that was fun. Go check that out if you're interested. Leave a comment if you would. I'd appreciate it. Um, but I usually do them on solo. He had a topic that I was interested in talking about, so I invited him on. He came on and we recorded it and popped it out, and it was great. So, yeah, Fridays and Sundays are my normals. This is what you get on a Sunday, and then Fridays you usually just get just me because that's definitely going to draw people in. People show up to this channel for me, that's for sure. And then game.
He had actual dead or alive move mechanics.
I mean, I would not be opposed to showing you that. I just have to figure out which games. I'd probably go back to 4, honestly, because 4's better than the new stuff, in
Just
my
set something
opinion.
with VR so the DOA boots hover over your chest.
Well, yeah, I don't know if they have VR for that, but yeah. The other
No,
downside
he's on
is
VR.
that. What?
Overlay graphics.
Oh, you mean
So
augmented reality? You mean?
yeah, no. So the graphical overlay of DOA bouncing boobs appear over your chest while you game.
You mean like a green screen with bouncing boobs?
Yeah,
That'd be interesting.
yeah.
But no, like
Or they can
I
just float around you. You know.
I thought about using this. Um, the what is it even called? Like the arcade type board. What's the actual system called?
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean.
It's got the little
Oh,
joystick. It's got the 6 buttons. It's the
yeah.
arcade. It's basically what you get off an arcade. That's an actual Dead or Alive 4 thing, but it's for 360. I don't know if that 360 will work on an
Yeah.
Xbox Series X. So I might have to whip out the old 360 and run it off of that. I think it'll work on the PC for anything because, PC's cool like that. You can use any era of whatever controller, but the actual systems for some reason are stupid. But I got that one for like $45, and they normally sell for like 175. So I was like, well, okay, I'm not doing too bad then. And it's Dead or Alive theme, which is the only reason I bought it. I wouldn't have bought it otherwise because I just buy Dead or Alive stuff. So if there's Dead or Alive
Yeah.
merch, I probably have it because I'm a Dead or Alive person.
Yeah.
I've been a Dead or Alive since freaking middle school. But yeah, that's all I got really. So thanks everybody for hanging out. I guess last shout outs. Go check out Matt on his channel. Unbearable 73 if you're interested in his content. He's kind of basically just explained what he does, so I don't have to. And if you like things like anime, Japanese culture, or anything funny in that regard, check out Crimson Law. I have both of them in the if you go to the my channel page at the very bottom, there's like the people they're there. Check out Meta PCs. Use code 199 if you're interested in supporting a veteran-owned company and getting a 10% or whatever discount. I don't know what the actual discount is, but I don't get anything off of it. None of my promos get me anything. Like Matt doesn't pay me, Crimson doesn't pay me. I just do it because I like the dudes and I like Meta PCs. Check out AyakaMods if you're looking for a modding website or a modding host or whatever you call them. Anyway, they're not in the censorship pro censorship camp. They're in the anti-censorship camp. Also check out DEG mods. They're also in the anti-censorship camp. And I think they have different mods, so you can technically use both of them, and it's all cool. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But check them both out. I'm interested to see what DEG Mods is going to be doing because DEG Mods is trying to build basically themselves into a publisher, which would be interesting. And I would really like that. And I wish I could work with them, but I don't think they'd hire me because I don't think I have anything to offer that they want except the fact that I'm a fanboy, apparently. So, that being said, check out those guys. And also before I forget, as I've kind of recently started doing this, is check out I think it's that background NPC, if I am correct. I'm going to just check real quick.
Mhm.
I don't want to ruin it, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And that's Crimson's thing, but whatever. Um, yeah, I think it's that background NPC. Yes. Or no, the background NPC. I apologize. The background NPC. She's a sweetheart. She's got a head on her shoulders, and she's become really, really popular because Asmongold took her from like 300 subscribers to 189,000 subscribers.
Mhm.
But she deserves it. It's actually well made content. You get that little cozy stream where it's relaxing, and she's got a very soft voice. She's that great personality, just tender, and she's actually a fan of games. She's not just posing.
Yeah.
She's not an e-thought. She's like legit. She's a legit person that I think she's just a fantastic person in general in that regard. And she's actually concerned by what's going on, and she's covered things from like Tales of the Shire. She's covered a lot of different things. So just check her out and give her a like, follow, comment, subscribe, all that stuff to her because she honestly deserves it. Like she was at 300 for way too long. She's bigger than me, and she still deserved it. So I'm glad she's doing really well. But yes, so check out her and enjoy her content because she makes very good quality content, and it's never boring. Even if the topic is depressing, it's it's still entertaining how she does it, and it's very relaxing. It's like watching those lo-fi videos when you're studying or doing work or something. It's just very chill. It's great. And the coloring that she does for like her lighting, it is really really nice. But yeah, that's all I can think of at the moment. So thanks everybody for hanging out, and we will see you whenever we see you. So
Bye bye.
remember, my friends, walk in the light.